Says we're live.
Hello, everyone. It's Feature Friday. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you Trailblazing leaders. I'm very excited today because we have story healer Kathy Mercure on today. And without further ado, I'm going to let Kathy talk to you and tell you everything about her and what makes her a Trailblazing leader. So Kathy, take it away.
Okay, wow. Thank you for inviting me, first of all, Debbie. I really appreciate it. So, I am a story healer, and I help people to heal themselves or heal their stories, which is very healing of themselves, through the journal. I'm a big proponent of it because I started myself, or I did a lot of healing myself, through the journal. And do you want to hear more history, like the sort of thing, or do you?
Well, tell us what you do. Tell us exactly what you do when people work with you.
Okay, so I mostly teach through courses, and I have begun working live online in courses in a private room. And I used to do the courses live and in person in an actual physical room. And now I do them online because I can reach that many more people. And it's my goal, really, my passion to help as many people as I can. So there's a basic course that I do called Writing from the Heart, and that helps people to actually listen to their heart. And I call it, you connect your heart to your brain to the pen. And it's really, what I teach is not so much about writing. It's really a listening thing, because you can, when you listen to your heart, it has extremely profound things to say. And so that's where the healing starts, as you get deeper and deeper.
Right. So yeah. I'm going to say hello. Pause for a second. Say hello to Brittany, who's joined us. Hey, Brittany, how are you? So for people who aren't familiar with journaling and story healing, can you just quickly walk us through what you do when you work with people through journaling?
Sure. Yeah, we start out, and I give some background on my own story, how I came to be, and then I talk about the tools that you need, and they're pretty simple. Obviously, I don't have a pen, but this is a pencil, a pen, paper. I teach to use music, which is concentration music, and it's been proven to help you improve your focus and the longevity, the time that you can journal, for as much as 400%. So music, and we use a timer, because when you have a time limit, it kind of kicks your brain into gear and gets you listening more. And but the most important thing is to still your mind, to calm your mind. So you need to, I usually walk them through a guided meditation and help them to relax, and then basically say, whenever you're ready, whenever you hear something, start writing. And that would be a freestyle journal writing practice. But there's also, I also give writing prompts, because at first it's easier to something in your mind to focus on. So that's kind of how it works. And then we do 2 or 3 in a session, in the introductory session. And then other courses I have are very specific about how to work through your fears, or just to go deeper and uncover, become the real you, find your writing voice, so to speak.
Right. Okay. So Mila's here as well. Hey, Mila, how are you? Mila like tequila. I'm never going to forget it now. Ever since that one day, which was fun. So Kathy, you recently launched a program as well, did you not? You went through the whole webinar launch process.
Yeah.
Some of our Trailblazing leaders may not have been through that process. I know it can be so time consuming. Sometimes, we do it and we launch on totally deaf ears. And gosh, I can't tell you how many failed launches I've had. But what would you say is probably some of the tools that you need to go through that process as an online entrepreneur?
Well, I would say I started working with a coach, a business coach I think it was November we started. And our time together was spent, first of all, building my list, because if you're going to do online programs, you have to have a list. And mine was pretty small. There's no doubt about it. When I released my first course, I just built it and expected everyone to come, which does not happen. I am here to tell you. And so I worked on engaging on Facebook, which is how I met so many of the people that are on my list in the various courses, in the various groups on Facebook, including yours. And then I did a lead magnet, which would be a giveaway. I did a course about journaling, and it has more than eight different styles of journaling that you can do, because sometimes it's not that you don't have anything to say. It's just that you need to discover the way that works best for you. And then when it came time to actually launch, oh my God, that was a lot of work. I was working 12 hours a day for the better part of 2 months, I would say. And so the most important thing I guess you can do is to offer valuable insight content. So I was really working on that, doing blogs every week. I did a blog and sent it out to my newsletter list. And as it grew, people got more familiar with me. I started my own Facebook group, which has helped. And that's really grown as well, from 3 to, I think I'm in the 40s now. And if you think of what I'm teaching, my course that I launched was about fear. So my group is about fear, and not everybody actually recognizes that what they're feeling, what's holding them back, is fear. And
I know that.
yeah, that's right. And I, for everyone that doesn't know, that's how I met Debbie. I'm not even sure where I saw you, but anyway, you were offering that course on kick this shit out of fear, and I took it, and wow, did I have one of those big insights that, like when I get mad, and it's like this power surge, and that's what happened to me. So yeah, so it was really, really valuable, and it kind of set me on the path, because I was procrastinating and in so much fear about releasing a course about fear, which is completely not ironic at all, I know, that I had promised to deliver it in September, and finally did it in January.
Well, they say we teach what we need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no surprise at all that by going through the fear program, which I love your video that you made for me during that program, and I have it up on my website and stuff, and it's one of my favorites. Out of any testimonial of any of my programs I've ever gotten, that is still my favorite, and that was my free program too. But I loved how you face your fear head on. I thought that was, you said, you called me out and you owned it. How do you think that other online entrepreneurs, because I love what you said too, procrastination is a key element that tells you have fear. If you are in any way procrastinating, there's fear somewhere. So for those who are watching, what would you say was one of the greatest tools you had in moving through that fear to really show up online as the leader that you are?
I don't know if I can link it to one particular thing, but it was basically make or break for me. If I didn't move forward, I was going to have to get a McJob. And I've been a freelance writer since I moved here in the city I live now, and for 7 years. And the idea of going to a job again, like, it's horrifying. So if there was any incentive, that was it. And so I had to get moving in order to make it happen, because there's only so many months that we can live under our budget kind of thing. So I in the past in my life, I've always been the major bread earner in my family. And then suddenly to go the opposite way, it was really tough. And so all those things add up. But I think the most important thing for anyone that I would recommend is acknowledge your fear, look at it, but you gotta do it anyway. Break it down into tiny little steps and do one thing at a time. If you can do it in the logical order, you'll build upon one success after another. And eventually you'll look back and go, hey, that wasn't really that hard. You might be scared every single step of the way. Most of us are. I sure am. I have fear every single day. But I don't let it defeat me anymore, because I need to do what I do. It's not just about the money. It's I want to help so many people, as many people I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tamara is saying truth, procrastination equals fear. Hey, Tamara, welcome. How are you? Mila says a McJob. Yuck, I know. And she's saying that what you're saying is very true, Kathy, that just facing it and one baby step at a time builds confidence. That's absolutely right. I think it's also so important to let people know, like you're doing and talking about, we all have fear. I mean, I come on here every week, I do the Feature Friday, and just beforehand, I get like those little stomach nerves. My hands are freezing cold right now, and I'm in, sunny Florida, and it's beautiful outside, and I'm covered in a blanket because I've got like those nerves. But I don't think that anyone is immune to it. And we all, as online entrepreneurs, no matter how far, how high you go, you're going to have it. And so what you're saying and what your tools are to help people push beyond that fear, to do it anyway. Because when you are called, and our messages are so parallel, and when you are called really for something greater, to help heal people, help empower people, whatever it is that you're here to do, that message is so strong that you can keep running up against the wall of fear, but eventually you need to win because you're here for something greater. And I love what you're doing as a story healer, Kathy. I think it is so fabulous. So tell us what you've had to overcome to get where you are right now, because as a trailblazing leader, it's not that you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. So share a little bit about that journey with us.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, I'm fine in this kind of situation because you're asking me questions. But if I get up on camera, I took a Facebook Live challenge, and it was and it still is a major struggle. So that's one of the things, like, in order to get people to follow you, and especially if you're going to do a live course or deliver online, they want to know what you talk like, what you're, the vibe that you have. And so you have to be live. You have to get out there on video so people can see you. And I think that that's one thing that I'm still overcoming. It's not comfortable, but it gets more and more comfortable as you do it, just as anything. No one is ever perfect the first time they come out of the gate. There's also no such thing as failure. The only failure is if you fail to try. And for me, that wasn't an option, because when I actually circled and drilled down to what my fear is all about, I got to that point where I said to myself, if I don't do this, it's going to feel way worse than if I do it and I fail. But,
exactly. Yeah, what a powerful component. Yeah. So I wanted to also just acknowledge the people who are on here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, for watching us. Kathy has an amazing story, and we're really excited to share a little bit of her secret sauce with you. If anyone has any questions on what a story healer is or does, or what it is that, you know, you would like to learn about it, or if you think, well, now maybe I can use a little bit of help. If you want to ask Kathy anything, go ahead and drop it here in the thread. And if you're watching the replay, if you're not watching live, you can still drop it in because, well, she is a trailblazing leader and she'll see the questions, and so she can answer them after the broadcast as well. But we'd love for her to answer your questions live. So if you have them, drop them in. Awesome. Also say hello and let us know you're here. So Kathy, just if you can just also share with us a little bit about where we can find you and what you have going on right now.
Sure. Well, I have a website. It's kathymercure.com, and well, my name was up there before, but it's Kathy with a K and MERCURE.com. All my courses and how to connect with me are there, but of course you can find me on Facebook. My business page is Kathy Mercure Story Healer. And I also have my group, Let's Talk About Fear. You can reach me that way too. But, and on Facebook, I have, my personal page is also Kathy Mercure. So, sorry, did you ask me another question, Debbie? Sorry, I lost my train there.
I was just asking where people can find you if they're looking. Now we have, Nicole is on here. She says, awesome. Great to see you in action, Kathy.
Yes, I saw that. Thanks so much, Nicole.
Yeah, so we like to acknowledge people who take the time to show up, and if you have any questions, you can drop them in. And the other question was, what do you have going on right now as far as programs, as far as active things that people can be involved in with you?
Okay. Well, actually, I just finished the enrollment for Bust Out of Your Fear Box. That's the name of the course at the moment. And so that course starts next week, and it runs for 8 weeks. The next one will probably be into the spring. But what I realized while I was doing the promotion stuff for Bust Out of Your Fear Box, is that, as I said, many people don't recognize that what they're feeling is fear. And so they might shy away from what I'm saying. But there's also a huge number of people who aren't comfortable with the idea of journaling or don't know how to connect to their heart. So my foundational course is called Writing from the Heart, and I have decided that I'm going to run it live as well. So starting hopefully next week, I'll be doing some work around that, some promotion of it, because it's the foundation of every single course I do. So we start out with Writing from the Heart so that you learn how to connect to your heart and listen so that you can be the recorder of thoughts. That's really all it is. And then I have other courses as well and more coming up. But my foundational course, Writing from the Heart, is, I think it's really necessary, really, necessary, but also in this time, because so many people struggle with writing or with journaling, and that's what I want to help with, is because it's not, again, so much about writing, it's about listening. And when you become an active listener, it's amazing the stuff that you can write. I'm always absolutely touched in my groups by the people that are in them, how courageous they are to write and then share, because that's a component of it, is to share what you wrote. And it's very scary.
Yeah, the sharing part is probably the one that fear will cause people to self-destruct more over than anything. It's not that they're going through the journey so much, although I've seen it, and I'm sure you have too, where people will just not do it because the fear is too great to actually examine, to go deep and see what's really causing it. But then there's sharing and owning it. And what I've noticed too is that when people share it and own it, they release it. And that's the part that I don't think people understand. You go through it and you go through it and then you go through it and go through it. And you need to stop going through it. And the way to do that is to own it, make it visible and release it. And it will no longer have power over you. So that's an awesome thing that I wanted to share. And I wanted to go ahead and just kind of start wrapping up here. But one of the things that you and I had a conversation about privately, which I thought you just totally nailed it the way you said it. We have a lot of strong women, not just in this group, but in our circles, in our sphere, in the world now. And there are so many definitions and different levels of being a strong woman. And what you said to me was, you know, Debbie, I'm softer. I have like a softer, like a warmer, calmer approach. You're kind of in the middle. And then there's like these really tough, hard ass, strong women, like in your face, get the fuck out of your own way kind of people. And you're like, so I'm just soft. I remember you talking to me because we were collaborating on program. And you're like, and you were telling me, okay, so I'm really soft. And then there's like really hard people and you're somewhere in between. And it was so funny. And I thought you were telling me like, you might want to like soften, like maybe because my people like it softer. Tell us a little bit about your approach. And because I know some people have a hard time with someone in their face. There's trauma, there's all kinds of stuff in the background. So how do you approach it with because I do, you're very calming and very soft spoken. And I find that it's nice to listen to. So how's your approach work?
Well, it is, as you say, I'm very gentle with people because I know how easily it is for myself to be hurt. And I always try to reach people in the same way that I like to be reached. I think that's how we are. We teach what we know. And so I may give a little tough love. I might say, is that really, you know, what you're feeling? Or, you know, I might call somebody on it, but I'm never in their face. And, you know, so having, for example, you, because we were going to do some work together, having you be the bad cop to my good cop it's kind of cool. I like the idea that I can, okay, it's okay. You don't worry about it. It's all fine. But basically, it's just encouraging and being completely empathetic, because that's the beauty of when we get into these small groups is everybody's in the exact same boat. And it doesn't matter whether you've experienced the exact thing that another person has experienced, but you have that empathic or empathetic response to them. And that's what makes the group work and how it gives people courage, because they see other people are having the courage to share, and they're not imploding or falling apart. They, you know, and honestly, I consider it a really good day if there's some tears, because
right.
when there's tears, it usually means you've reached that part of your heart that's the deepest truth of you.
Yeah. Right. So Mila had to run off. So bye, Mila. Thank you so much for coming on. Julie's hanging out with us right now, talking about fear can stop us in our tracks and kill our dreams. And then everyone misses out on the message that we were brought here to share. So thank you for that, Julie, as well. And, you know, those of you who are watching it in the replay, again, feel free to drop your comments in. And then Nicole just said, it was beautifully said, of course, Kathy, the story healer. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Do you have any last words, or did anything come to you as far as where we can find you, what you're doing right now? What can you end with to let everyone know what you're all about?
Well, what I would like to say to you all is that everybody can heal. Now, not everybody has the same level of trauma as others, but it doesn't matter, because what you feel is yours. And it doesn't matter how like, we don't get into comparisons, and I really love that, because your pain is your own, it's real, and as you said, when you share your pain or your shame or whatever it may be, it's like a vampire bat. It just kind of poof, and it dissipates in the light, because shame can't handle the light. And it's the strongest, most amazing thing you can do. And to do a journal practice every day, if you can, is the big, well, I know I'm biased, but I think it's one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself, because you can lay it all out there, and then you don't have to necessarily be that person that you don't want to be. It allows you to be who you truly are, that soft, lovely marshmallow.
Wow, that's great. Okay, Kathy, thank you so much for coming on here today. It's always fun to learn more about everyone's stories. I mean, I had a little bit of a benefit because I've worked with you in the past, and I've been following you. We've have private conversations, and I would encourage anyone who is interested in busting through fear, busting out of their fear box. I mean, it's fear all over the place. You may not even know it's fear, but if you really need someone to hold your hand and to guide you in a nice, gentle way that is not going to tear down the house all at once, I highly recommend working with Kathy. Kathy, I think you have an amazing and beautiful soul, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on Feature Friday and for letting us know a little bit about what makes you so awesome.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, just reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
All right, guys. So have an awesome rest of your Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you right back here, same time, same place next week for Feature Friday. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.